Are we live? We are live. Hello, everybody. Let's start everything the way we normally do. Denver sucks in the chat. I want to see the whole feed. Nothing but Denver sucks. You all know what to do. You know what to do. Now, while you are all doing as I say, thank you very much in advance. There's a lot of you who are doing something in the chat here before we started, and there's no other way to say it. You're snitching on yourselves. The number of people who are like, why is this the last live stream? Where am I going to find you? What's happening? Why is this the last live stream? Did the sun do something? Are we about to all die? Thank you for telling me you didn't watch the morning show. Appreciate that. I'm going to remember your names, too, when you try to ask questions about stuff. For those of you who didn't watch the morning show, who didn't decide to come to class and do the homework, there's so much going on. The documentary starts filming this month. We just opened Observer Ranch. My kids are getting older. I like doing more stuff interactive with them. There's just so much going on that this is not the greatest use of my time, even though it is very often fun. And for the one individual who was like, oh no, you're my source of information, what am I going to do? It's just these live shows that I'm not going to do anymore. I'm still going to put out the morning show every single day, reliable as the sun. If it's not there, something very, very serious has happened, either to me or one of my loved ones. So, no, the channel's not going anywhere. Ian, what's going on? How's it going, my friend? But yeah, so the ranch is open, by the way. Yesterday, I was out there, had a chance to chat with some observers for a while. I'm going to be out there tomorrow as well, Tuesday as well. If you're watching the morning shows, the dates where I'm going to be on site, we're probably going to be listed fairly regularly in the morning shows. Even on days when I'm not there, though, who's going to come stay at Observer Ranch? Other observers. Are you sick of trying to talk to your friends and family and other people about this and having them look at you like, or having them call you names or something like that? Not going to happen when you're talking to other observers. At the open house, the grand opening. Yeah, people were enjoying seeing the ranch. People, I presume, enjoyed talking to me a little bit. But I can honestly say the most enjoyment people had was just talking to other observers. And I've said, veteran watchers, you've heard me say this a lot. It was the exact same thing as it always is. It felt like a family reunion where everybody was happy, completely stoked that they were surrounded by people who they could just talk openly about all the stuff that they're interested in. It's, I would find some time to come out to Observer Ranch. And by the way, in the last 24 hours, I have talked to both Pierre-Marie Robitaille and Jimmy Corsetti, and we're setting up times for them to come out and be special guests. So every day it's an observer reunion. I will be there multiple times every week, and we'll be having special guests and special classes and other things like that. Jedi Monk, thank you. Appreciate that. Other than that, as I mentioned, the documentary starts filming this month. Right now, we are in the process of figuring out dates for actual filming. My dates are set for later this month. August Dunning was an immediate yes, and holy cow, is he very, very important to this. He's got a world of knowledge. And for those of you who don't know who August Dunning is, he is the guy who used to be a professor at Caltech. Ooh, and used to work for NASA's JPL orbital program. He's 100% on board with all of this, not just the magnetic pole shift, the cyclical disaster, but the micronova, the Earth turning over. He's one of the most valuable resources we have. We've also got a bunch of other global experts we're reaching out to see if they can be a part of this as well. Daniel Nelson, what's up? Thank you very much. And of course, we are building the models and hoping to get some epic visualizations. as well. And Tony, yes, you're right. August Dunning is also the king of dry fasting. I know he's gone more than a week on a dry fast before. I actually have my, somebody just said, is it RV camping only? For right now, it is mostly just RV camping, but we have a fleet of our own RVs that you can rent if you don't have one. And we are putting together our cabins and our tent sites as well. So eventually it's going to be the full bring your RV, rent one of our RVs, camp in a tent, rent a cabin, stay at a local hotel and come by and get a day pass. All 5 of those options are going to be something at Observer Ranch. Joe Peterson, what's going on, my friend? Yeah, there actually are a couple papers on KP index, well, more proton storms and wildfires, but basically any space weather and anything geophysical is going to be amplified. The Pixel T, thank you for your support. Appreciate that. What the hell was I talking about before I got distracted by you guys and your wonderfully kind comments? Yeah, so ranch is open. Definitely go to observerranch.com. Figure out when you can come see us. It's a good idea. UFO Pizza UFO says, rewatched you with Weinstein, learn more the second time. The interview I did with Brett Weinstein is one of the best interviews I've ever done. It really is absolutely fantastic. Jane Ray asking, where can I find out dates about availability, etc., exact location? Oh, I don't know. Observerranch.com and the morning shows where I just said a few minutes ago, I'll be putting all the dates that I will be there. Ben, why don't you want to do live streams anymore? Grand solar minimum, timing, blah, blah, blah. It's hard to know. I mean, you also have to remember that not every grand solar minimum was like the Maunder minimum. They weren't. We had a centennial scale grand minima, in the 1800s, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. So, is what it is. So yeah, ranch is open. Documentary is about to start filming. I'll give a quick shout out actually to the sponsors that we have whenever they get me their promo materials, but we actually have some pretty cool sponsors for this. I think you guys are going to like them, the people sponsoring the documentary. It's going to be awesome. Firedog says, can't wait for the movie and your live fireside chats will be missed, but we understand we'll get our salt somewhere else. Yes, well, the live fireside chats are moving to Observer Ranch. Sometimes I'll be there in the middle of the day. Sometimes I'll be there in the evening. That, and if you do show up at the ranch, you are allowed to ask me anything, including stuff I do not let you ask me about here on live streams. Give you a good example. What do I do when someone's like, Ben, I live in blah, blah location. Am I going to be safe? My answer is, what makes you think you can take over my live stream and make me just spend a bunch of minutes analyzing your location? Nah, you come to the ranch, I'll do that for you. I'll do that for you. We'll have basically everything. Like, I'll be giving set talks on space weather, its impact on the climate, on earthquakes and volcanoes, its impact on human health, its impact on technology. And we have both a beginner's and an advanced catastrophism talk that I'll be doing. There'll be lots of other classes taught by other very knowledgeable people as well. But yeah, I really didn't want to talk about the ranch this much, but I'm super excited. And I hope I'm going to see some of you out there tomorrow or Tuesday or some other time. By the way, I fought against it. I am going to say one more thing about the ranch. I fought against this as hard as I could. And by the way, Sam, I guess I'm going to miss these salty sessions too, but it is what it is. I fought against it. I said no. I was overruled unanimously. For those of you who have been here a while and who know me, I am 39 years old. I will turn 40 years old in October. And they are throwing me a 40th birthday bash. Yeah, my birthday is October 21st. It's going to be on the 19th, a Saturday. So if you're looking at your schedule for October, November, and you're like, oh, I think I want to come out to the ranch here, but I don't know when. Maybe come out for my birthday party. I normally don't like birthday parties, but again, I was unanimously overruled. Here we go. Legitimate question. Captain Taco. I wonder what kind of question we're going to get from Captain Taco. Do you think the Earth flip will align with the end time events and the Great Tribulation? Seems possible to me. Abso-freaking-lutely. I've been Christian my whole life, but I can tell you that the fortification of my faith didn't really happen until I did the full analysis on this disaster cycle from a scientific perspective, from the physics. What's happening? What should we expect to happen to the planets, to the sun, the Earth? And then I realized, wait a minute, this is basically exactly what the Bible says. And I still to this day do not fully comprehend how those people got it so correct that many years ago. But sometimes you don't need to understand the why to see the pattern. Kind of like the ancients. I use this example a lot. The ancients could predict eclipses to the day. They also thought the moon was a living creature who could be capricious and get angry at them for doing things. They didn't understand the why, but they understood the pattern. Anyway, good question, Captain Taco. All right. Good evening from the Jersey Shore, Grateful Preps, New Jersey. When are you coming out to the ranch? I want to see you, buddy. Edward Pearson, hello. How large do you think the backside flare and South Pole flares were? Chances that will happen in our direction sooner. So the South Pole one that went off this morning, we actually could see that one. That was actually on the Earth side, just very, very high latitude in the south. That one was a long duration M1 or M2. The one on the far side was probably X-class, but probably not as big as that X14 that happened just 10 days after the May solar storm. Neither one of them, if aimed at Earth, would have been terrifying, put it that way. Jacob says, didn't catch you leaving the ranch, but wanted to say the grand opening was great. And thanks for the hospitality. Oh, Jacob. Yeah. Okay. Now I know who you are. Hoping to see Jim would be great if those were streamed. Sell tickets to fund future speakers. Well, I mean, I'm not going to sell tickets. It does cost money to come to the ranch, whether you're renting a spot or getting a day pass. It's just how things work. We do have considerable overhead. We spent a ton of money building this thing so that the observers could have a home base where we could all get together. Oh, and look, somebody chiming in saying last live stream, question mark. Bless your heart, all of you that don't do the homework and then just come here and go like this. Just bless your heart. Aren't there a bunch of prisons in that neck of the woods? So one, there are a couple of prisons nearby, not super nearby. Two, so in what? What do you think's going to happen when the power goes out? Do you think that the protocol for every prison in the middle, like in Oklahoma and Texas and Arkansas, every summer when there's tornadoes and major thunderstorms and the power goes out, do all the doors just fly open? And then the guards have to run around and bring all the prisoners back? No, the automatic protocol at every prison in the United States during a power outage is automatic lockdown. Most of those people are going to die in their cells, which is a lot more peaceful way to go than if they got out and tried to mess around in Fremont County. Okay, I'll say this. No, we're not Texas. No, we're not Mississippi. But that little part of Colorado there, they're all gun-toting Trump supporters. You ain't getting anywhere. In that situation, they're not going anywhere. If they're smart, even if the door flew right open, they would. So yeah, there's a couple prisons nearby. So what? Not to mention, like, what do you think my plan is when like the sun goes black and the power goes out? You think I'm going to be standing at the front gates? Welcome all. Come. I will save you. No. No. You don't want to try us in that kind of situation. If you show up at Observer Ranch in the aftermath, you better be holding a white flag and you better have a lot of your own supplies. And we better not see a gun. Put it that way. Can't believe we're still talking about the ranch here. Holy moly. Dark sleuths. All right. As another example of why we're not doing live streams anymore, Dark Sleuth says, hey, Ben, what is this micronova thing about? Does Earth have a magnetic field? What the? I suppose this is a good time to mention that right down below the video in the description box with all the links and everything right below the video, the first thing you're going to see there is Observer Ranch, which is where you're going to want to go if you want to come see us in person. But right below that is the homework. If you haven't done the homework, forgive me. I beg your forgiveness. But if you haven't done the homework, shut up. Don't type anything over here. Like nothing. Ben, why don't you want to do live streams anymore? Hope to make it to the ranch. Any word on how the movie is coming? Alan, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, filming starts this month. It has not started yet. But I will give updates as things progress. Carol, thank you for the teal pear. I'm pretty sure that's the first teal pear of the show, right? Right? Yeah. Carol, thank you for the teal pear. Like, desalinate me slightly. What's this micronova thing about? Does Earth have a magnetic field? I don't want to do homework. And look at that. Bam, bam. 2 more teal pears. Thank you, Goliath and Sue. Appreciate that. Daniel asks, I'm going to bring you some grain mills, a hit and Mrs. Engine. I don't know what that is. And some Himalayan pink salt for your birthday. Yes, definitely on the salt. I love pink Himalayan salt. That's what I use on a daily. Where do I find the papers on wildfire and proton searching? Oh, man, Joe, you'll put me on the spot. So I think that the two papers I remember most came out of Serbia. And I want to say it was 2013 about solar protons and wildfires. And you got to forgive me. That was 11 years ago. That's the best I got in my head. I'm pretty sure it was 2013, and it was by Serbian scientists. I hope that helps. I realize that might not help too much, but that's all I got for you right now, buddy. Alan, no problems, buddy. No problems. I appreciate it. I didn't give you as much attitude as I've been giving some other people here because I recognize your name. If this is in fact your last live stream, I would like to once again request you sell me high-resolution pictures of your toes. Once again, I always say I'm going to read shit before I talk it out loud, and I always forget to do that, and then shit like that comes out of my mouth because somebody wrote it. Doc, thanks. Appreciate it. No, thank you. Late to the presentation, monitoring Tonga quake since this is your last live. Thanks for your hard work. Oh, you mean that 6.0 that just struck Tonga? That little guy? I wouldn't worry about that little guy. Who knows what movie that's from? Most of you should know what movie that's from. Nayurka Lopez. That is a hell of a first name. Hello to you and your little one, and thank you for the support. Soul Lounger, appreciate the teal pear. It's awesome. Jack Jackson. I wonder if that's your real name. Is the projected ocean traversal during the event still going to be slow northeast, fast southwest? Does the direction change location viability? It certainly would. And if you're, it depends on, are you talking about the United States? Because the the initial inertial wave and the sloshback come from different directions depending on where you are on the globe. Don't forget, the Americas are moving south on the globe. Australia is moving north on the globe. The waves are going to be going opposite directions there. So, yeah. Joe Schmo, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you, Joe. The sun is only on a burn off the veil the wizard has on us. Okay, well, maybe. I like the sound of it. Sounds cool. Joe Peterson, you're very welcome. Tony says, keep on fighting. Missed the COVID meetup due to cancellation. Yeah, that sucked. Loyal to the work and the message, stay full of love. For those who don't know, Kat and I were on tour in the Mobile Observatory, the 36-foot Class A RV we turned into basically the Observer Mobile. We fell in love with the RV life, and we talked about owning an RV campground one day. And then Kat got pregnant. We started popping out little children, and we started doing the conferences. I don't know if any of you guys ever made it to one of our conferences, but they were absolutely epic things to be at. Then the biggest one yet sold out. 2020, they canceled it. Hotel just straight up told us no. Doesn't matter that you've booked this. Doesn't matter that we have a contract. Doesn't matter that you sold out. No, because of COVID. And so we realized that we needed a new way to have observer meetups. And we never really lost our dream of having a campground. So now Observer Ranch is both. We have the RV campground life, which I absolutely love. There's just a different vibe. It's awesome. And it's also a place where we can have observer meetings, conferences, other things like that. And the fact that it's also doubling as our survival location, not the campground and education part, the public area, but the back part of the ranch, which no, most of you will not be able to go back there. It's a private community kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Well, that was a heck of a thing triggered by by Tony's comment, wasn't it? I just sort of get back here. Dieter, your thoughts on solar flash and awakening some and others even more. Thanks. I don't know what that means. Your thoughts on solar flash and awakening some and others even more. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me there, Dieter. I mean, if we're talking about like awakening, like DNA ascension, no, I'm sorry. I admit it sounds cool. Just like the Nibiru thing sounds cool, but it's complete bullshit. This DNA ascension, we're like, no, when the sun gives us this flash, we're all going to ascend and be able to talk to each other through telepathy. And some of us may be able to fly and we're going to live to 500 years. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Not where my head would be in this situation, but good luck with that. My thoughts on the solar flash, you know my thoughts on the solar flash. You've been around enough. You've seen my micronova videos. Hello, Joe Schmo, again. You know, for somebody who lives so close to me, Joe, I don't see you enough. My gratitude for your work. You're a legend. Thanks, Theo, man. What length of stay at Observer Ranch is recommended to get to see a full set of regularly planned events? That's a tough call. I mean, eventually, once we have the full program up and running, probably at least 4 or 5 days. If you want to make sure you're not missing any of the regularly planned events. Right now, while we're still just gearing some stuff up, I'm not doing any of the official talks, and the official classes are still sort of being worked out exactly timing wise and things like that. And so when I'm at the ranch, like right now at the ranch, there's two main things. One, if I'm there, just have a chat. Like, I like informally chatting. You can ask me anything you want, including those questions you're not allowed to ask me on live streams. And of course, when there are other observers around, there is never a shortage of conversation. I would also like to mention that our RV sites are some of the biggest in the country. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to an RV park and like literally like you step out of your RV and you can like put your hand on the RV in the spot next to you. We could have put double the amount of RVs, double the amount of RV spots that we actually did put there because we didn't want that crammed in thing. The scenery in that valley and the mountains all around, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, we wanted to make sure you had some space. If you got kids, let them run around. If you just want space in general, you got it. It seems I can't stop talking about Observer Ranch. Maybe I will if you guys stop asking about it. But no, happy to answer that question, Mr. Johnson. Joe Schmo is just texting me here, just messing with me while I'm on the live stream. All right, well, one of his texts says Christ is King. That's the one I'll share. Now, Joe, stop bugging me. I'll miss your handsome face in the lives. Aw, that's so kind. You could come see me at the ranch. Some say I look similar to this in person. It's amazing. In fact, there were several people at the grand opening weekend who, when they saw me, they were like, "Man." They just happened to recognize me. Apparently, my face looks very close to this in person, which is fascinating. Barb, what is up? Barb, when are you coming to the ranch? Thank you for your continued support for so long. Continuing. Ooh, there's an interesting question. Campy Fleggery, can it destroy Rome? Yeah, and a lot more than that. It is a super volcano. Campy Fleggery, as I've said, is my #1 scariest volcano for this disaster cycle. I've been saying that for years, and now finally the locals are like, hey, all of this seismic activity in the ground rising up like this, maybe this is concerning. Maybe we should look into this. Thanks. Scrolling. Did somebody say they liked the Buffalo event? Oh, yeah, you were there, weren't you? He's still texting me. Thanks, Joe. Talked to a grain hauler Thursday. He said, prepare for food shortages and price hikes. The truth can't be hidden anymore. Something will happen soon. Stay prepared, everyone, and keep your mind right. Fair advice. I like it. Susie, it was so nice to... So, Live Like a Viking Susie and her daughter, they were both at the grand opening. They were extremely helpful, and they are just as wonderful as you might suspect they are if you have been watching the lives. It was great to see you, Susie. Can't wait to see you and your daughter again. You're both lovely, beautiful people. You've raised a wonderful daughter. Karen, thank you for the support. Much appreciated. Daniel says, during the shift, how strong do you think the winds will be? How many miles per hour do you think during the shift? How strong do you think? Strong. Hurricane force winds will probably hit various places, if not most places. But this whole 1,000-mile-per-hour wind thing, that's going to be a no. 1,000-mile-per-hour winds, there's no trees left. There's no grass left. Dirt and tiny rocks and other things become projectiles and literally destroy everything. If this event actually had 1,000-mile-an-hour winds, there wouldn't be a biosphere today. This would have literally killed and sterilized the whole planet. Maybe not the bottom of the ocean, but you get what I'm saying. I would be prepared for hurricane force winds, no matter where you are. There's a chance you could get lucky and not have them where you are, but that's one thing to prepare for, hurricane force winds. Burning Rage, hello, my friend. Thank you for your many live streams. Hope you're able to do more. Like I said, there's a question mark there. There may be a reason to do a live stream down the road. It's just this is not going to be a regular thing I do every week or two like it has been happening the last year or two. The Q&A you do is awesome, but the salt is one of the more enjoyable things for my wife, children, and I. Denver sucks. Salute to all of you guys. Scrolling. Been watching you for years. Thank you for all you've done. Continue to do. Truly appreciate you. Amber, that was very kind words. Thank you so much. And I will accept that flower. Chances of the catastrophe this coming minimum. Was away from desk. Sorry if I missed it. Like I said, I think we're going to get through this sunspot maximum. While it is possible, I don't think the micronova is going to be this minimum. I think there's a very good chance that the sunspot maximum we have in the 2030s could be when we lose global power. And I still don't think the biggest events are coming until the 2040s. And I know some people are going to be like, but what about these accelerations? I was saying to watch out for this. I built these accelerations into the timeline already. It's just that even though I've been expecting them, even though I told you all, watch for this, this is what's going to happen. When it actually unfolds the way it does right in front of your face like this, it's jarring. It is. Thank you for the question, Edward. It was a good one. Scrolling. Mark, celebrating with you. Thanks to you, I'm prepared to float with up to 1,000 pounds of gear and supplies. If I float past the ranch, please don't turn me away. If you got 1,000 pounds of gear and supplies and you don't point a gun at us, yeah, okay. Thank you, Mark, by the way, for your support. I really appreciate that. Scrolling too far. I'm still not any good at scrolling. Kyron James finally caught a live stream. Keep getting blocked when I tell people the mag pole shift will make anthropogenic global warming look like a school ground spat. Denver sucks. Exactly what I was saying earlier. How much does it suck trying to talk to family and friends about this stuff? My parents don't want to hear it. My sister. It's one of the best things about Observer Ranch, about any Observer meetup. When you're around other observers, the vibe is different. It's like being in a new world with different humans. I would say that's a better reason to come to Observer Ranch than to see me personally. It's just me. Like, I'm just a dude. Yeah, I'm pretty good at this stuff. But being surrounded by other people who are so much like you in this specific way, it can't be overstated. Just can't be overstated at all. All right, let's see here. Pardon my tardiness. Dumpster diving dragons. What's going on? This might be the last live question I ask you. How deep in a body of water would be any safe depth to pass through micronova? All right, so I guess that depends on which aspects you're talking about. If you're talking about the micronova flash, the extreme ultraviolet, sitting at the bottom of a swimming pool. If you're talking about being 100% sure that none of the impactors are going to hit you, deep, very deep. Of course, the problem with that is the oceans are going to be sloshing around like wild. The submarine volcanoes are going to be going absolutely nuts. It's a trade-off. Very much a trade-off. Great to see you, Triple D. Brandon Nugent, thank you for a flying teal pair. Love it. Yes. Da, 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 da. For those who aren't watching the live chat or can't see it, he managed to get a GIF of the teal pair doing the Superman thing. I like it. Quick question. Is there a way to detect directly the accumulation of dust in the inner solar system, like on an orbiting satellite or on the ISS? Seems like a particulate counter would be good. Yes, Dennis, and they're doing that. That's why we have two different papers about excess dust near the sun and into the upper corona, why we have a paper about there being too much dust all the way out past Pluto, because they are monitoring these things. It's just like they don't have like a daily counter or anything. Every couple of months, they release another paper. That's what we got. We've got people here just like it completely ignoring the show, talking about cuddling with each other. It's a bit befuddling, but it's kind of cute to read. Carry on. Curious to know if any of the mountains in Australia are high enough to save lives. I would say yes, but also with this caveat. I don't know Australia terribly well. I'm willing to bet there are parts of Western Australia that will be safe from just about everything. However, I'm told that part of Western Australia is basically badlands. That's actually too kind. It's a wasteland. So what are you really going to do? You're going to go try to survive in a wasteland for however many years until the disaster, and then either hope that area improves or move back somewhere else? Australia is tough. Australia is tough. And the fact that it is so surrounded by water like that, and it's going to take a terrible initial inertial wave and a terrible sloshback. Same with New Zealand, by the way. Getting hit twice like that is brutal. Places like India, China, they just get the sloshback. Places like the United States, we only get the initial inertial wave. We're not getting the sloshback. Canada's in the way. Canada gets a sloshback from the Arctic, but it doesn't get the initial inertial wave except for the far eastern part that will probably get hit by the Atlantic. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. Australia and New Zealand, I love everyone there, but holy cow, the prospect of being there during the disaster is terrifying to me. Terrifying. There's no amount of money you could give me to move there. None. Burning Rage. We finally made it to Alaska. Now we're working on building our homestead. Almost 4,000 elevation. Not bad with a fabulous many-acre spread. Denver sucks. Burning Rage. Keep us updated, actually. You can send me emails. Let me know how it's going. Joe Davis with the flying teal pair. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Is it possible, asks Keekum the Shadow, is it possible that the May superstorm caused a further acceleration in field loss since May? Anything above KP 6-7 I've been able to reliably see with the eye and capture the aurora via cell phone? It's possible. We don't have the kind of data on that specifically at this time. Some of the excess expectations, KP index events from solar storms, they're part of what we're looking for, but I can't say that they are outsized compared to what we've been talking about the last 18 months since the acceleration that Dr. Sergei Simonenko told us about, which occurred in March of 2023. So, they're doing a pretty good job, actually, of keeping us up to date on that information. So I imagine we'll probably get some kind of update on that front before the end of the year. Not to mention that at the end of the year here, we have the official release of the next World Geomagnetic Model by NOAA. So that'll be good as well. Lots of things to be looking for. Oh, scrolled too far. Haley Wright, I see your message was retracted. I can't read it, but thank you for your support. I appreciate you. Ben Trey, thank you for the partying teal pair, wearing a party hat. And, the thing that, what do you call those? What do you even call those things? They give them out at birthdays. You blow into it and the thing rolls out and it makes the noise and then rolls back in. What do you call those? Doesn't matter. Thanks for building the ranch. Can't wait to see it and meet you, Ron and Barbie. Well, Ron and Barbie, I can't wait to see you guys. I really do love meeting people in person. It's always good. Any new lands uplifting during the shift? I'm not Jesus and I don't have a crystal ball. I imagine the answer is yes, because there seems to be land that rises and land that falls every cycle. Figuring out where that is ahead of time, that's the hard part. That's called a kazoo? Really? I thought I knew what a kazoo was, but apparently not. Look at how many of you are answering. Damn. Okay, apparently it's a kazoo. What do you guys think about what happened to my buddy Tim Pool the last couple of days? Brutal. Brutal. For those who don't know, he sued Kamala's campaign for flat out lying, like totally false material said about him. It's a clear case of defamation. And the day afterwards, he's being investigated by the Justice Department. Oh, your buddy is not who you think he is, says Prism Planets. Oh, thank God you're here, genius one. So knowledgeable for the rest of us ignorami. I know exactly who Tim Pool is. I know this. When they start going after people, some of the rumors and negative stuff you heard about them probably isn't true. Haley says, what are your thoughts? The sun will flare, wipe out the tech, poles will flip, and the earth spins backwards. The Adam and Eve story says tilt. The earth is not going to spin backwards. It is going to tilt. And yes, I'm well aware of what the Adam and Eve story says. The only reason you've ever heard of the Adam and Eve story is because of my expose in 2018, which tons of people have copied in years since then. I'm the one who found that FBI file with the Adam and Eve story. I'm the one who went and hunted down the actual books, all 3 versions of them, and shared how the story progressed from his original writing in the 60s up to his final version in the 90s. No, the earth will not stop and spin backwards. It's going to tilt. Ben, how are you so healthy? Tell me. I quit cigarettes. I don't drink alcohol. I'm on a carnivore diet. I've healed my traumas from the past. I get plenty of sunlight. And I'm at the gym every single day. What is your plan to dispose of the peeps that don't make it? Viking funerals, baby. Put some thought into that, obviously. Antonio Garcia says, hola, Senor Ben. My first day off in a month. Happy day off, buddy. I come on and I'm shocked. Is this really your last live stream? Yeah, it is, Antonio. Too much going on with the ranch opening, the documentary starting to film, my kids getting older and requiring more of my time. Like, for example, it was one thing when they were all little, but kids have karate. Kira does viola. There's so many things that are just required now that I have to be picking and choosing. And this venue, as fun as it can be sometimes, it is also a venue where I end up yelling at a lot of you, a lot. So, unfortunately, if you want to see me get super salty, if you want to see me troll liberal snowflakes, if you want to see me call people a faggot, you're just going to have to follow me on Twitter. Thomas Holland, good to see you, buddy. You've been wonderful for years. The cabal is coming hard after the freedom fighters. Grateful, New Jersey. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw the thing about Tim Pool. Simple physics question. Why don't the poles of a magnet bar attract to each other if opposite poles attract? Well, they are kind of attracted to each other. But if we're talking about a magnet, they're already touching, aren't they? And so there is actually attraction like that. It's just that there's nowhere for them to go. It's already one piece of something. And furthermore, there's a kind of directionality to the magnetic field loop that's created if we're talking about a straight bar magnet, where at the tips, it's very strong going in those directions. But as you get closer to the center, it approaches the 0 point or the null magnetic point where there isn't as much attraction there. So I hope that's helpful. That sounds like one you could actually ask the internet in general and get a pretty okay answer. People are confused about the native Indian settlements hundreds of feet up built into caves and canyons. It's because they knew what was happening 6,000 years ago. They had floodwaters to deal with. I couldn't agree anymore. Absolutely. There's examples of that here in Colorado Springs. Thomas Holland, you're just awesome. Look at that. Teal pear riding a rocket. Oh, never mind. That's a firework that explodes at the end of the GIF. No more teal pear. Thomas, you've killed the teal pear. What have you done? Your internet is buffering. I demand more life. Joe Schmo. I've been to your house. I know where you are, Joe. Light of the Moon, thank you for the support. Appreciate it very much. Going after tenant media is a death throw of the deep state. It really is. I mean, like, how desperate and down are you when you go after Tim Pool and tenant media? Completely fake and will eventually be thrown out in court. I happen to agree with you, Fire Dog. Will only make Tim stronger in the long run, yes, but right now it's got to be a pain in the ass. I mean, this has got to suck to deal with. We have to admit that, right? What are your thoughts on tech recovery? A 300-year full tech recovery would be super based and seems plausible. Man, that'd be awesome. I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to be too ultra focused on surviving. And a lot of the information and knowledge is just going to be lost. That's just how it is. There's no way around that, really. But man, I would love it if there was if it was only 300 years, then by the next cycle, we could have a legit chance of stopping this thing, which would be nice. In western Nebraska, large uniform undulating hills, a huge area, 20% of the state. Thoughts on evidence of a massive movement of water moving north or south last flip? So the last flip, the Pacific took on the Americas. We're tilting the other way this time, so it's not going to be the same. I'll put it this way. I don't think Nebraska is going to fare too well this time. I really don't, especially the eastern part of the state. Western part of the state, you've got some elevation there. Could get lucky, actually. Scrolling. Ben Trey, thank you again for your support. You could do a live stream once in a while with plenty of warning beforehand. In theory, I could. But what are the chances I would be dealing with a lot of the same stuff I already deal with? People not doing their homework. People saying dumb things. Not you, just you get what I'm saying. Will gold dental fillings rip out? No. So gold, there's a reason why you see so much gold on satellites. Gold is a perfect electromagnetic break point or shield. It's like the exact opposite of copper when it comes to that. Gold will be fine. I wouldn't worry about gold. I figured if a battery spins a little fan on a paper clip the opposite way when it's flipped, the planet might do the same. I'm learning. Sorry. Haley, no problem. Haley, if you haven't done the homework down there below the video, the first one is learning about space weather, but the second one is the catastrophe evidence. that'll get you caught up like that. And no, I do get exactly what you're saying. But don't forget, the sun flips its magnetic poles every 11 years. And what happens is coronal holes, sunspots, they flip hemispheres, but the sun still spins the same direction. So I hope that helps. Is there an aftermap that depicts the probable scenarios? Says Tristan492, who obviously hasn't done his homework. Because yes, I show the world after the flip. You think they plan to enact 2030 before the Flash? No. They're hoping to wait as long as humanly possible for this. Holy cow. All right, I've got to start going through some of these questions faster. Are the four fundamental forces bullocks? Could everything be defined by electromagnetism as the one unified force of the universe? It's hard to say. The strong and weak nuclear forces are interesting. Yeah, gravity probably has to do with electromagnetism and electrostatic forces, but it's not as simple as just saying what I said. That's a very, very long discussion. One I'd love to have in person, by the way. Snap. So some of the legendary libraries may have been built because they knew too. Attempts to gather knowledge in one space to hope it would survive. Problem is then they then get lost. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. Or in the case of the Library of Alexandria, which wasn't lost, part of it was burned and part of it was stolen. So yeah, us humans are awesome. Ben Trey, thank you again. Keep popping up. I'm curious to your safe altitude for water level, i.e. 5,000 feet. Is that SL or would it be from ground level? How would that be from ground level? Like, what, you gonna float 5,000 feet in the air? No, it's elevation. And it also depends on where you are in the world. The elevation you need to survive in Texas is not the same elevation you need to survive in British Columbia. The elevation you need to survive in Maine, not the same as here in Colorado. So how far away you are from the ocean matters a big way. Ben Trey, we could do a Twitter, what do you say? We could do a Twitter space with a moderator if you wanted, I suppose. You'd have to contact me through Twitter, though. Hey, Ben, do you think the elite's refusal to develop Alaska is because of how the world will look after the excursion? That or the difficulty involved in it. If Alaska was basically slapped right next to California and Oregon and literally attached to the lower 48, I think it'd be different. But then between the distance and the weather, it presents challenges to develop Alaska that you don't have to that degree in the rest of the 48. You think the Earth will somehow grow in mass? So the Earth expands and contracts like a lung. It breathes. I do think there's evidence of it being much smaller in the past, but I also see evidence of it ping-ponging back and forth. I don't think it's going to grow tremendously in mass. Does Observer Ranch have ham radios and antennas? The survival group does, but I don't really know how that's going to affect anybody else. Well, Ben, we will miss you, but we understand about your live stream and all the dummies, and was entertaining for me. I learned the hard way and did my homework. I will have to drive by your ranch. See you in a few months. Would love to see you, Diego, and I hope you're still going to watch the morning show, because that is still the best way to stay up to date on all this information. And M, thank you for your support. Thomas Holland, back again. I fully support Joe Schmo's demand that you must continue to do more live stream. No, Joe Schmo. Now you've got a teammate on here with you doing this, and somebody I respect as much as you. That's fun. Super, fantastic. All right, guys. This has been well, it's been a live stream, hasn't it? It's been a live stream. What are my X and Rumble links? So first of all, I'm not giving out my Rumble links. I'm not posting there anymore. I found Rumble to be a complete waste of time. The X link, Twitter, it's also down there below the video. It's down below the video every single day. It is at Sun Weatherman. Find me. Find me. And by the way, thank you to like the 200 or so of you who also joined my second Just for Fun Twitter page. I have decided that I could use a hobby. And it just so happens I like college football. So I happen to know quite a good bit about football, by the way, more than just your average person who watches ESPN and watches their favorite team on Sunday. I was basically a mini version of Stat Boy when I was in high school. And I wrote about football for school papers. There are observers among you, a defensive coordinator in the NFL and a head coach in college. We chat a lot. So I've decided that I'm going to be analyzing college football this year, and that's my second page. And I've analyzed about half the games so far today. So either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll be posting everything about what happened today in college football. I'm so sorry, Notre Dame fans. I don't know what the hell happened today. But if you're a Notre Dame fan, I wish you better luck the rest of the week. Anyway, moving on, because we're just about up at the end of it here. Has anyone brought your attention to the fact that dandelions barely bloom this year? You should come see my front yard. At least here in central Illinois, without any lawn treatment, I've had 3 that flowered and seeded. My whole tree is this way. Well, that's interesting. I can say that we've had plenty of dandelions here in Colorado. I scroll too far. I'm so bad at scrolling. Seriously, how bad I am at scrolling through comments is like legitimately by itself a reason to stop doing live streams. I understand why you're stepping back. We should concentrate on pre-1930s tech because it's not too hard for most folk to build or repair. Antonio Garcia, that's a great comment, and I agree. Mechanical over electrical, but yes, in general. Is there a tiny home community near the ranch? No. And in a future safe zone where those who think... There's a couple of places you could move in the area, but if you're genuinely going to do something as drastic as moving near the ranch, just send us an email through observerranch.com and see if maybe you qualify to be part of the survival community within the ranch. Because I'll tell you what, being near the ranch is nice. Having me looking out for your survival during the disaster, it's a little more than nice. Turns out, I've thought of many things. Turns out, I've got a lot of good ideas. Turns out, I've surrounded myself with other smart people. Just a thought. Send us an email through observerranch.com. Drop a low. Thank you for the laughing Teo pair. The Forerunner. Denver sucks. Christ is king. That is all. Can I give that a heart? Absolutely. Denver sucks. Christ is king. That's all that's important. Put it that way. Joe Schmo, I'm going to read all your texts as soon as this is over. I promise. I promise. I will read all those. Then I'm going to watch college football while simultaneously trolling liberal snowflake faggots on Twitter. Anyway, I'm going to get through these, and then we're going to be putting a cap on this. I love that F word is back, by the way. Hope hams stay in touch as long as possible into the 2030s. No faith vacuum tubes will make it. Alan, that's fair. Yeah. Burning Rage, thank you for the Teo pair. All right. If you guys could stop asking questions and doing super chats, that would help me, by the way. Hello from Palm Springs. Going to miss your live streams. Well, come see me live in person, and please do not miss the morning shows. Beg of you. Love to the whole world. Thank you for speaking the truth. You're very welcome. Please don't drag me. I didn't do my homework. I and my children are in Juneau, Alaska. What do you feel could happen here? Denver didn't used to suck. God bless you, brother. So, Amber, here's what I'm going to say. If you're in Alaska, I hope you're not right by the water. I hope you've got some elevation. Next thing I want to ask you, if for 10 years there's no power, the winters are 10 to 20% worse than what you experience now. You can't call anybody for help. There's no grocery stores. You're on your own in that climate, slightly worse winters for 10 years. Will you make it? If your answer is yes, and you've got a little bit of elevation, I say make it happen. I realize that's a tall order, but people are doing it. And they're good at it. Remember to live like a Viking. Yes, Susie. Learn how to do everything they did. I know how to make wire and all kinds of stuff. Denver sucks. Hugs. Hugs back to you and your daughter. Again, it was so wonderful to meet you guys. All right. Fantastic. It's been exactly 1 hour. Guys, this was... I hope I have a good reason to do live streams in the future. I hope my life gets a little less busy. I don't really think that's on deck for me. But, guys, I will see you in the morning for the daily show tomorrow and every day, as always. Please follow me on Twitter. If you happen to be a football fan, keep an eye out on my Twitter because I'm going to repost the stuff to my second Just for Fun college football Twitter. And please come see us at the ranch. It's fun. It's fun to be around observers. I'm not that terrible in person. I tend to be far less salty in person. I tend not to call people it's in person. So there's that. Ben Trey, thank you very much. You are very welcome. Anyway, guys, awesome. Again, we'll be posting that stuff on Twitter later tonight. Would love for you to join me in my hobby for the next couple of months. Who knows how much longer we'll have stuff like this to watch and get excited about. Might not be as long as you think. Anyway, again, see you in the morning. Be safe, everyone.